Global food supply chains are under unprecedented pressure. Climate volatility, labour shortages and geopolitical disruption are all testing systems designed for very different times. I'm here with Massimo Bizzi, head of Fortifi Food Processing Solutions, a global platform built to strengthen and future-proof the food system. We'll explore how technology, data and human judgment can combine to create more efficient, resilient and sustainable food supply chains. Massimo, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me here today.
First of all, there's a lot to talk about, but tell us a bit about the global food system, how it's changing, what the challenges are, and also how Fortifi fits into that.
Okay, great question and a very important topic for us. So first of all, the food industry is a very important value chain in today's economy. As you can imagine, produces food for every family. And in that context, it's also interesting to observe that it's also an industry that, in terms of adoption of automation, is a bit behind other industries. And Fortifi has been created to accelerate the adoption of automation. And our approach has been to acquire strong and established businesses in various segments of the food industry space and accelerate them with the adoption of an overlay of technology, including robotics, vision systems, software, and AI. So we produce machinery and provide services to food producers, and we are working to develop technologies that enhance and enable food production in a different way.
So fair to say that you've come across something that has been going on since humans have been alive, and you've seen that it's lagging behind and needs an update.
Yes, that's exactly the approach. And very often we go into production plant, we work very closely with the food producers, and they come with their challenges, with their pain points, and explain where they would like to have improvements. For example, if you look at the protein processing industry, you see a lot of manual operations. When you talk to the operators there, they suffer very extreme levels of employee turnover, and very often their production is limited by the amount of people that they can really operate in the plants. That's a typical US problem, but it is also happening in other areas and in Europe as well. These are very often jobs that end up with a high turnover because they are in difficult environments, in the cold, wet environments, and people just don't stay there. And we believe that when you apply automation in those contexts, you help those jobs to become better. You do not simply replace jobs, you enhance them. So the robotics technologies are designed and conceived to augment physical work. Software and AI are thought on and conceived to augment really the thinking capabilities. And you end up with very complex operations with hundreds or thousands of people where really automation and technology can make a difference.
Well, we're now in the age of artificial intelligence and data analysis and all the rest of it. What role do these have to play in our food future?
That's another very interesting question. The amount of data available in these plans is enormous, and very, very significant benefits can be obtained by using those data better. So an approach we are taking in Fortifi, we're creating the foundations. We have a good business that is in the traditional elements of data, collecting and using data, SCADA technologies, ERP, manufacturing execution systems. The next level will be to use those data better. We have algorithms already for improving operations and optimizing the way it works. We also have a partnership on AI that we continue to work on. And these are areas where we continue to explore. But for us, the adoption of software is an integral part of our story, and we are going to do more on that front as we go forward.
Can you give me an example of how software or AI is helping food production?
For example, you can get all the data of what you need to produce, and you can optimize the staffing level on a line and ensure that you can really have the throughput in the factory that you want. That's part of the partnership we're having at this point. In our business, we have a software company that allows also to have better visibility of data, and so creates in an automatic way KPIs and helps a food producer to be more efficient in the use of their resources, and therefore makes them more profitable, and therefore enables investments. And that is a virtuous cycle that you want to establish.
I mean, I can see that all this points to an uptick in efficiency. That's easy to understand, but that's an all-encompassing word. I mean, is that the holy grail of the food production industry?
It is and it isn't. I think when you apply technology, absolutely, efficiency and productivity are the keywords. When you look at the structure of many of the food producers, you find, on average, relatively low operating profits with these companies if you compare them to other industries. And that is also a lot because of inefficiencies, in our opinion, and also in the opinion of many players we work with. But it goes beyond that. It also goes to the point of making a more consistent production process. For example, when a human touches food, you always have a risk of food contamination, and food safety issues continue to be a challenge in the industry. And very often, the manual operations also do not guarantee you the quality of food that you expect. And so in that sense, adoption of automation goes beyond efficiency and productivity, because it goes also to impact the food safety aspects of it, the food quality, and in some way the resilience of the food chain.
So Fortifi talks openly about this employee ownership as part of its culture. How does that plug into the ethos that you've tried to create within the company?
Employee ownership is a cornerstone of our culture. We believe that the concept itself has the potential to change the industry. And that is because employee ownership is a way to align the workforce and everyone in the organization to the same direction and create a culture of entrepreneurship. In that sense, involving everybody by sharing information, being transparent, promoting financial literacy and knowledge, and getting information and contributions for better service to customers, and eventually turns out to be very good business decision. So we are part of KKR, and in that context, KKR has been a champion of employee ownership for more than a decade. That it's a journey that started long ago, and but we found this, in addition to being a well-proven model, we found this to be extremely powerful for us. It's a long journey because it takes quite long for employees to switch to a mental model where they are owners of the organization and contribute in that way. But we are seeing as we go a progressive adoption and more contributions in that sense. And for us, it's just a fantastic way, can change how capitalistic economy works, and we're just excited about what we're doing.
You mentioned that a lot of food companies have a very high turnover of staff, that it's not a popular place for people to build a career. What about Fortifi? Do you keep your staff?
Oh, we do. We have a fantastic track record in employee turnover, well better than the industry. So we are in the single digit voluntary turnover, but on average, we do retain a lot our employees.
We've talked a little bit about disruption. These are difficult times. No one can deny it. Are you optimistic about the future of food production? Do you see a bright horizon ahead of us?
I am optimistic. I'm optimistic because the root cause of, let's say, the challenges of the industry are clear. And it is about technology. It is clear to us, and it is clear to the CEOs of our customer organizations. And the imperative of continuing the investments in automation and technology is there. And so in that sense, it's just a matter of time. Of course, for example, a year like last year, with all the difficulties that happened on the international trade, was obviously slowing down activities and investments, created uncertainty that is normally not good for business. But at the same time, the imperative didn't go away. So operations are still manual. The need of accelerating automation still remains.
Final thought then, Massimo. I mean, I can see you're a technological guy. You're an engineer. Do you have a love of food as well?
I have a love of food. I'm Italian, so you can expect from my culture that I love food and high quality food. I would dream of a world where everybody can access ready-to-eat food and high quality food products with a minimum amount of time and work needed in the family to cook it. And we want to make products and technologies that enable all that.
Pleasure talking to you, Massimo. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Andrew.
So a reinforced global food supply chain requires more than incremental gains. It needs connected systems that bring together technology, data, and human judgment to drive efficiency, resilience, and sustainability at scale. Fortifi, with its integrated innovation and ownership culture, is well positioned to engage these challenges as the population grows into an uncertain world.